Every time I talk to women, it's very dry and formal conversations. I ask them lots of questions, what their interests are, and what do they study, or where do they work, etc. But they never seem to have that spark in their eyes about me. I have seen other guys talk to women, and they're all laughing and having a good time, and I can see there is chemistry between them, but I just don't know how to replicate it. Stop being scared of them. Treat them like you would anyone else. For God's sake, don't put them on a pedestal and approach your interactions like there are 4 billion other options. Because there are. If you offer one, fine. If you creep one out, fine. Just don't let yourself make the same mistakes over and over and you'll learn. Also, do whatever you can to make yourself incrementally more physically attractive than you currently are. Bear in mind the competition and the effort you need to put in increases exponentially with how attractive the woman you're talking to is. I've never bothered chasing tens because I have better things to do than jump through hoops. I am an unexceptional man, so I shoot for unexceptional women. Common sense. From my experience, it's 10% what you talk about, 90% how you talk about it. Practicing charisma, treat them equally, and make sure the first impression isn't, I want in your pants. Just friendly conversation in general should work. If it is a woman you have never talked to before and are wanting to approach, you can start by noticing something about them and complimenting them, or telling them something funny in how it relates to your life. I have had tons of guys approach me because they think I look like Taylor Swift, or they just tell me that I have a nice outfit or something. Hearing a compliment is a great start, and it can lead into other areas of conversation. Don't start with a corny pickup line. That is a huge turn-off, and it's annoying. If it is a date you have planned and you sort of know the person, you can ask them a bunch of questions like where they're from, what their hobbies are, favorite foods, or questions about things you have talked about before in the past. Example, a couple of days ago you told me about X. Could you explain it a bit more to me? You could probably even Google fun questions to ask. As always, make them laugh. Bond with them over food. That works for me. I have been with my boyfriend for 7 years and he always gets me to feel those butterflies just by being silly and making me laugh and smile. Even better when it is accompanied by snacks or food. That is all it takes for a lot of women. Just some friendly, genuine interactions. People think women are these insane, complicated creatures, but if you just treat them like a normal human being, it would go such a long way. Like, I'm sure if someone came up to you and said, hey, your outfit looks so great today, just wanted to let you know, I'm sure you would be smiling ear to ear. That answer is literally different for everyone. It's like asking what's the best haircut. Well, what works great for me may not work at all for you. It's also important to know that you will fail. I have had very successful flirty conversations and plenty that fall flat. And that's okay. Not everyone vibes together. That's just life. I would say the idea of flirting is about fun. Keep that in mind. Be yourself. I'm gonna preface by saying that I'm not an authority on human interactions, but I am an introvert who's working on it over years. Everyone saying you just talk to them like they're people are technically correct, but not being extraordinarily helpful. Not all interactions are flirtatious interactions, or should be, and simply talking to people isn't flirting either. So you can probably abandon any of the just treat them like people claptrap. First, the easy. What helped me was learning techniques on building a rapport with people first. There are many books and YouTube videos on this. There are even classes on it. Well, there used to be at least. There's a ton of resources out there on learning how to be more social. But this leads me to now the not so easy. At the end of the day, whether you get what you're looking for from this thread, or a YouTube video, or the stupid book people keep referencing, or whatever, you're gonna need to practice. And practice is usually very hard. And if you're anything like I was, you're gonna be bad at it to start. The key is gonna be to keep trying and getting comfortable with, first, yourself, and secondly, interacting with people. Not all flirting needs to have an end goal. Sometimes you can just make someone smile and move on with life. I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I was on the Las Vegas trip and happened to be on an elevator with a couple of those Vegas showgirls on it with me. There were about 1 to 2 seconds of awkward elevator silence, and I just said something to the effect of, I was thinking about wearing that exact same outfit today. I'm really glad I didn't because you're pulling it off better than me. They laughed and were thoroughly amused. They even offered their names unsolicited and asked me where I was from, and we chit-chatted as we walked for a little bit. Was that interaction flirty? Probably. Could it have fallen completely flat? Totally. But it didn't. It was simply a fun 5-minute interaction, and we'll never see each other again. Best of luck. First of all, I would say flirting isn't always sexual as some people may think. Keep that in mind. Yes, it can be, but it can be playful, slyly complimentary, funny, etc. You would want to be sure if a woman is actually receptive to it, because sometimes immediate sexuality is a big turn-off. There are levels to it. However, I'd say teasing is the heart and soul of flirting. Obviously, don't overdo it, but girls like the challenge. I'm not talking about insulting the girl, but busting her balls as you would with your best buddies. Also, try holding eye contact few seconds longer than is comfortable with a woman. This creates sexual tension, which is really important for flirting and making her understand that you want her more than just a friend. If you want, then I got a lot of support for her. Don't flirt with women. Talk to them. You're trying to do something rather than just having conversation, and I'm willing to bet it comes off unnatural. I was super shy as a kid and I struggled talking to most people, let alone women. It is difficult to relax when you have a goal and you are worried you aren't going to achieve that goal. Women can smell when you're trying, and it seems to be an unattractive smell. If you just aim at having a good conversation, the conversation will go better and you might find yourself making a connection. Don't try to pick up a girl, just try to have a nice conversation that you could hopefully pick up the next time you see them, even if you don't think you will ever see them again. If you don't seem like you are trying to get in her pants, the more likely she will want you to. She doesn't want someone that is desperate to be with her. She wants someone who has options but chose her. What even is flirting? Flirting is expressing desire. In order to express desire for someone, we need to feel desirable. Flirting is basically saying, hey, I want your attention because I feel worthy of your attention. So I'd start hyping yourself up. There is no say this or say that. Flirting comes in the moment. You can have flirty body language, flirty expressions, or flirt with your words. It can be compliments, suggestive, joking with, or picking on someone. It's important to remember to respect people's boundaries. Me personally, I don't find flirting on company time cute. If anyone touches me, they're dead to me. It's always good to establish a comfortable connection with someone before flirting, and definitely stop if they're not into it. What you find flirty, someone else might not. Personally, I pay a lot of attention to people's body language. Are their feet pointed at me or away? Are their arms crossed? Do they lean towards me or away? And if you pay attention to how people look at someone they're attracted to compared to someone they're not, you'll see a difference. This type of assessment helps me understand if the people are comfortable with me, paying attention to me, open to me, or maybe find me attractive, which helps me know whether or not to be flirty. I wish people were more flirty respectfully, as long as they can take rejection gracefully or don't mind losing a long game of a chase. Sometimes it's about the journey rather than the goal, as some people say. Who doesn't like expressing desire and who doesn't like feeling desirable? It's not so serious. Do you have similarly stilted conversations when you're meeting new guy friends? If no, then pretend she's a dude until one of the women in your social circle kisses you. Once you know more than 25 single women and interact with them casually on a regular basis, one of them will almost certainly develop a crush on you. It's just math. Nothing a hot girl loves better than a guy who's not drooling over themselves, playing stupid games, or chasing you like Pepe Le Pew. If yes, then practice talking to people in service-related situations. Your bartender would be a good start. Or better yet, your barber. Maybe try getting pedicures and manicures for a while too, so you can practice talking to the nail tech. Not flirting, just learning to make casual, not creepy, conversations. Be sure to tip well, since you're basically using them as therapists and service positions don't usually pay hourly. The good karma will come back to you. Once you feel comfortable with this, try imagining that any woman you meet are just nail techs that happen to be on their day off. Most of them wouldn't mind a new friend, so try inviting them to lunch with the expectation that only 1 in 10 of the single ones will say yes, and 98 out of 100 of the ones in the relationships will say no, or will get in trouble if they say yes. Remember, it's all about numbers and timing, so cast a wide net. It honestly varies from person to person. I went on many dates before clicking with my now fiance. Some of them were into me, but equally, there were some that weren't. I framed dating in my mind as I'm going to try X new cafe/restaurant with a potentially cool new person. Some of them were, as you described, not having a spark in their eyes, but we still had a good chat, which I would say is still a positive outcome, and I had a good time. I feel that matching your sense of humor with the person is a first great step, and then finding common interests or experiences. Here are some general tips that could help. Be confident. Confidence can be attractive, so try to approach the person you're interested in with self assurance. Use humor. Making someone laugh can be a great way to break the ice and create a connection. Just be sure to keep it respectful and avoid offensive jokes. Compliment them. Genuine compliments can make people feel good about themselves and create a positive impression. Ask questions. Show an interest in the person by asking open-ended questions about their hobbies, interests, and passions. Listen actively. Pay attention to what the person is saying and respond thoughtfully. This shows that you are interested in them and care about what they have to say. Use body language. Non-verbal cues like maintaining eye contact, smiling, and leaning in can help create a sense of intimacy and attraction. Remember, the most important thing is to be yourself and treat the other person with respect. Good luck. Not really seeing anyone else tell you, so I will. This isn't an intellectual question. You can't get it here, other than to say you need to both look and act in a way that makes her feel good. You need to meet the minimum look and personality requirements for them to think you're special. Get in shape, be confident and interesting. Confidence is up to you. Interesting means being able to phrase your interests and beliefs about the world and everything about it in a fun, relatable way. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to improve yourself physically and slash or find your own spark. Shrooms, weed, alcohol, there are different ways to open up different sides of you if need be. You're a human being. Don't underestimate your own power. Nobody here can help ultimately. Just make sure your hygiene is on point. You are putting effort into your visual appeal and just access your natural sense of humor to make them laugh. If it doesn't work, maybe their sense of humor isn't on the same wavelength as yours and keep it moving. You can't allow yourself to be invested in wherever they like. You can't allow yourself to be invested in whatever. You can't allow yourself to be invested in whether they like you or not. Any human, regardless of gender, can tell when you are trying too hard. Desperation is naturally repugnant and repels people. Work on your social skills in general, not just with women. I don't think people can skip that when trying to become more confident. You truly have to be comfortable with yourself, unbothered by how you are received, and that will knock out a lot of the problem.